when I did the video, what came up and the reason why I really wanted to do it is because we've been experiencing so much flooding and so many freak storms that I've mentioned. So I featured some of that. I really felt called to get out and immediately film some of the absolute flooding in some of these areas that I trampled and ran across and explored as a little girl. And in particular, there was a tree that came down. Oh my God, that I just absolutely love that tree. Loved it. Oh, God, I could cry thinking about it. Actually, I haven't mentioned before, I'm a tree person and I spend a lot of time with trees and really, truly love them and think they provide more for us than we recognize at present time. And this particular tree was absolutely healthy, I promise you. And I always stared at it. It was kind of one of those things you take for granted. I stared at it in this nature spot that I went to often, but I took it for granted. It never thought in a million years I would be taken down by a storm. Well, I go there and it was taken down completely. And this had been a tree that a lot of animals lived in. A lot of the birds in the area lived in this tree. And it shocked me when I saw this. I knew that storm had been kind of crazy. I knew those floodwaters had been strong. But this was an absolute healthy tree. And yet I guess it soaked the roots enough to bring it down. And the symbolism of that I wanted to include in my song. There's something very, very powerful about it. And I just sat by that tree. Oh, God, I can't believe I'm getting emotional now, but I sat by that tree for, it seems like hours, just mourning this tree that I'm sure maybe I was the only one, other than the animals. It was me and the animals. And there was this crane that always flies away when I come to that spot, never will stick around. And that day, it came back and hung out with me for a little while. And it was just this notion that, to me, the tree was a little bit symbolic. Not at the time. I was really just truly crying for that tree. But later in my video, it was the symbolism of how a healthy family can be taken down in this spiritual warfare. And these floodwaters, where are these storms even from? Like, what is even going on? But there was this wonderful healthy family, but the roots got flooded, and whatever happened, it's a tragedy. Whatever it is, it's a tragedy when you see a family go down like that. So that symbolism is partnered with my psalm, Like a Boomerang. And I want to believe that tree could be restored, but it won't. There's no way that tree's going back up. But one of the ways that boomerang has come to mean something different to me is that what is sent towards you can, let's say what the enemy sends at you. When you don't recognize who it's coming from and it's in secret, this principle isn't true. But when you discover where it's coming from, then it will return sevenfold to sender. And that's another way that there's actually so many ways that the boomerang, like I mentioned, works as symbolism in this particular context. But that was a new one that came to me in this season. And it's a little bit about justice. That there's times when a tree comes down and it can't be restored. But there is faith that justice will be served. And that through God there is justice. Ultimately there is justice, whether you see it or not. It's not for you to enact the justice, that's for sure. But through spiritual principles of sevenfold, that there is a point where it gets returned to sender sevenfold. And so I'm kind of going off a little bit on that. I don't know. I can't believe I'm getting so emotional on here. But I also want to mention that in this video, there's also this amazing statue of Jesus and Mary that I videoed from Santa Barbara Mission. And I don't know who the sculptor is. They didn't have a name, but this was some of the most beautiful sculpture work I have ever seen. And I have that featured on the bridge. So please check out Like a Boomerang. It's on my YouTube channel. Lyndol Descant. That's Lyndol Descant, Descant. Like, subscribe. You'll get my Friday videos that I send out most of the time, unless the beep hits the fan, and then I have to just do my best. But I do weekly videos that are exactly like this. Sometimes they're self-produced, sometimes they're produced by one of my producers. They're matched with videos. Sometimes, like last week, I did a rehearsal video, all kinds of things, but all of them are designed to uplift and to offer an antidote, to offer, use music as a counter weapon to the things going on, especially on the internet these days. So check those out. All right.